The American League beat the National League yesterday in the All-Star game. Chicago Cubs pitcher Shota Imanaga pitched a scoreless inning for the National League, but it was not enough to power them to a victory. It was the AL that took it home. Imanaga was the Cubs' only representative, but was he the only Cub that deserved to go? That and more on the Cubs baseball channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Get in the comment section. Let us know how you're feeling about this team as they get ready to start the second half on Friday. Here is your invitation to our show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Cubs baseball channel. My name is Anthony Pasquale, as always, on Twitter at ant_Pasquale3. Thank you guys for joining us today to talk a little Cubs baseball and the All-Star game. Want to remind you guys that the Cubs baseball channel is on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So find us on there as we post some different clips and things from our YouTube and try to grow those channels as different ways to connect with you, the fans. So follow us on there. We'll give you guys some shout outs on those social media pages as well. Just make sure to hit that follow button. Obviously, here we are standing with the Cubs. They're 8.5 back in the NL Central, 3.5 back in the National League wild card as we await the second half beginning on Friday. But that means, of course, it is still the All-Star break, and the AL beat the NL yesterday 5-3. Shohei Ohtani hit a 3-run homer for the National League, which powered them in the third inning. That was their 3 runs. The American League got a 2-run double from Juan Soto, an RBI single that drove in Juan Soto from Fry, and then Boston Red Sox outfielder provided the finishing blow. Jarren Duran clubbed a homer to take the lead, and that was all it took for the American League. They hang on to win 5-3, but Chicago Cubs pitcher Shota Imanaga had a scoreless outing. It was really nice to see him get out there. He was one of the stars, many stars, but he was one of the stars of the show. It seemed like everybody wanted to meet him and watch him play and get to talk to him. And it was cool to see him kind of soak up that spotlight. But when his time came on the mound, he pitched a 1-2-3 inning. He allowed no hits, no walks. He was the only National League pitcher to pitch a full inning and allow no hits or no walks. So it was a perfect inning from Imanaga. Had a strikeout against Adley Rutschman, which was really nice to see. And then he induced some soft contact and came away with a scoreless inning. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the win in the metaphorical win column, but he did pitch well and should keep him right on track to pitch when the second half starts this weekend. But I want to talk about some different Cubs players that I think maybe could have been all-stars. Shota Imanaga, certainly deserving, and he was the Cubs' lone representative. But let's take a look at some of these options of guys that could have been all-stars. We'll start here. Christopher Sanchez was named an all-star in the National League, and here are Justin Steele's numbers next to him. Obviously, Sanchez has more starts and a little bit more innings pitched. But look at those other numbers: ERA plus, strikeout rate, walk rate. Justin Steele clears in all of those categories. Steele has been sensational this year, pitching to the tune of a 2.71 ERA. I think he definitely could have been an all-star this season. He was the first name that popped to my mind as a guy that potentially was snubbed from the All-Star game. But let's not stop there. Ian Happ had a really strong close to the first half, I should say, a really strong end of June and beginning of July. Jackson Merrill was named to the All-Star team for the Padres. Let's see how these two guys stack up. Ian Happ with a higher WAR, more homers, more runs driven in, a better on base percentage, slugging, OPS, and OPS plus. How do you look at that and not think Ian Happ deserved to be in that All-Star game over a guy like Jackson Merrill, especially when you consider that Happ plays excellent defense? That's another guy that was a candidate. But perhaps the most egregious Cub that could have been an all-star, especially over the person that ended up being an all-star, was probably Michael Busch. Obviously, Christian Walker from the Arizona Diamondbacks had a really strong case to be a first baseman all-star for the National League this year. But let's take a look at Pete Alonso from the Mets numbers and compare them to Michael Busch's in his rookie season. Let's take a look here. So obviously, Pete Alonso has the edge in homers, has the edge in RBIs, and has played much more games, has much more plate appearances because Busch for a while was only hitting against righties, and he still put up these numbers. Has a higher batting average, on base percentage, slugging, OPS, and OPS plus the higher WAR up there at the top, which is a number that a lot of baseball fans care about. All these numbers courtesy of Baseball Reference and StatHead, but Michael Busch, Ian Happ, Justin Steele, I wouldn't necessarily say they got snubbed, but they certainly made a case to be all-stars here in 2024. But nonetheless, the second half is on deck to start on Friday. Mick and I will be back tomorrow to discuss the game on Friday and the weekend series against the Arizona Diamondbacks as the Cubs try to do some more dirty work and get back into the swing of things, not only in the division race, but the wild card race, and try again to make a push to avoid selling and make a push for those playoffs. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, on TikTok, and on Instagram. And as always, thank you guys for liking and subscribing and getting in that comment section to talk some Cubs baseball. I got to say, we always appreciate it. And your contribution to this channel does not go unnoticed. Go Cubs.